Hello, hello, folks. This is Mike Williams and the rest of our Steam staff, except for Jazz and Jeremy. And this
Nope.
is US Gamer Hangouts.
Woo!
Uh, in lieu of a podcast for us, which has been a little bit rough, we're going to try the Hangout format where you can see all of our bright, shining faces. And for this first inaugural episode, we have Kat,
Yo, what's up, everybody? I'm Kat Bailey, senior editor.
Nadia,
Hello, I'm Nadia Oxford, contributing writer. This is Cami.
and Bob.
Hi, I'm yet another senior editor.
So the format for this will be three topics for 30 minutes with each of our esteemed guests and a rotating host. I'm the host this time, so I don't get a topic. Uh, this time we'll be starting out with Kat. Kat, what do you want to talk about?
So, I've been reviewing a game, and that game is Battleborn. And if you're not familiar with Battleborn, it's a first person shooter thing. They call it a hero shooter. It's kind of part MOBA, part Team Fortress 2. The reason that I find it kind of interesting is that it's been getting a surprising amount of hate. I can't think of a game that has received more hate before it even came out than Battleborn. And I'm kind of like, why is that? Like, why does everybody hate this game so much? And I was kind of wondering if I could pick your brains about this one.
Hmm.
My guess is we've sort of entered probably a couple years in the everyone's trying to jump on the MOBA bandwagon, and I think people might be a little tired of it. So everything that looks
Yeah,
like a
that's my
MOBA
philosophy.
is kind of like, there's another one.
Yeah, I suppose so. It feels a little cynical, but I mean, most games are cynical these days, right? I mean,
Yeah.
I'm someone who's predisposed to dislike Battleborn Cat, and I can tell you well where that comes from. I think I just have Gearbox fatigue. Because I just see one screenshot of Battleborn, I'm like, oh great, everything's a meme again. There's wacky robots. There's probably going to be some awful jokes in here.
Oh yeah.
I want nothing to do with this. Good day, sir.
a game where they over-explain every single joke ad
Yeah,
nauseum.
yeah. Yeah, like playing so much Borderlands, and I really should have stopped myself at some point, but just playing so much of it just got me into a spot where I'm like, I don't want anything to do with Gearbox for maybe a decade. Just stay away from me, please. Unless you can kind of have more self-control in terms of like, I don't know, storytelling and jokes. That kind of stuff. As minor of a part of a game, as minor of a part of the game that was, it just really got to me.
I have
Double
two.
rainbow.
I have two theories on this one.
Okay.
The first theory is I think that I think you're right. I think a lot of people are a little like kind of wary of the cynical nature of it and this idea of trying to turn it into a MOBA. Even though the actual MOBA mode is not what I would necessarily consider the primary part of the game. If anything, it's kind of trying to be all things to all people by being a co-op shooter and a Team Fortress style like capture point team deathmatch kind of game. And then there's the MOBA thing as well. But also people I think people were kind of turned off by the art style initially. It just the character designs weren't especially great. They they were all kind of like going off these like annoying archetypes and that kind of thing. It's like, oh look, there's the Space Marine, cool, and hey, isn't that the Heavy from Team Fortress 2? What's he doing in this game? And okay, there's like a Sith Lord, I guess, or something. And then it also, I think the first level they showed was this. It has this annoying AI, and like he's over explaining every single joke and telling you about. It's like, here, allow me to point out this trope and then tell you why it's a trope. That's the joke.
So it's kind of like Claptrap, where it's like, yeah, we get it. You saw Invader Zim. We liked it 15 years ago too. Real funny.
Wait, was
Exactly.
Invader Zim
I'm the
15
one who's
years ago?
cynical. It was,
It
yeah,
was. I was in college when Invader Zim came out.
It was your old.
So
yeah.
old.
I don't mean to break you or anything, Mike, but it was 15 years ago that Invader Zim came out.
Yeah, it feels really weird. Like you were talking about the character designs, and like the character designs, when you look at them, they are very distinct, but for some reason, like taken all together, it just feels kind of not boring. I don't
Well, it's very
like
been
it
there,
doesn't.
done that. I mean, this is not,
Yeah.
Yeah,
none of
done.
this stuff is new for video games, right? It's like,
Yeah.
oh look, the robot butler. Okay, well that's real clever, I guess. And there's the kind of goth Lolita girl, and there's like a space knight, and and the what was it? The penguin in the mecha suit,
Yeah, the penguin in the mech. You always gotta have the cute little animal in the mech.
and it has an Overwatch problem. Now,
Wait,
Battleborn and Overwatch are not the same games, right?
Oh yeah.
But you can't help but compare them because they're both kind of positioning themselves as a follow-up to Team Fortress 2 in that you have all these characters and their character classes, and they are like they have that kind of cartoony look to them, except I'm sorry, Blizzard's artists are the best in the business, and you're
Yeah.
just not going to beat them.
And they have
right?
way better butts too. I'm not
They
seeing
do.
the butt quality in Battleborn. That really let me down.
Yeah, no, the
butts.
character designer for Overwatch is amazing, and yeah, there's this not just the MOBA issue, but there's this current melange of Battleborn, Overwatch, Battlecry, which I don't even know if Battlecry is still in production anymore.
Oh, it
and
might be.
Paragon.
I haven't heard from that one in a while.
Yeah, and Paragon. So there's like four. Oh, and Gigantic. So there are 5 games that, like, if you just look at them surface level, are all mostly the same, even though they really aren't. Like, they're different games. This and Paragon are probably, Battleborn and Paragon are probably the closest being like MOBA shooters at the same time. But yeah, it's not just hard to stand out in MOBAs, it's also hard to stand out in this aspect.
Yeah, everything kind of blends together, even if they're
Yeah.
not the same games.
So I feel bad for them because it's not a bad. I played it during the beta. It's not a bad game.
Yeah, it's
I
okay.
just don't see myself playing it a ton.
It doesn't help that it's going to cost money out of the gate. It's not free to play, which
Yeah.
on the one hand, that's okay because it means that they're not going to be charging for characters.
Oh, yeah.
But on the other hand, people are like, oh, $59.99 for this? But it's a big game. Like, there's like, it kind of justifies its price tag. But I guess people like look at a game like this after playing Team Fortress 2 and feel kind of like conditioned to expect that they're not supposed to be paying money for this kind of game.
So that's what happened
Yeah.
to Evolve, really. At least
yeah.
I think so.
But
Oh,
this
yeah.
game, there's a
It
lot
still
more
hurts,
to
it still
this
hurts.
game than Evolve, right?
That's true. That's true. But it's still it's an online multiplayer experience primarily, and I think you're right. Most people are used to there not being such a big cost of entry for something like that.
So yeah, I'm playing Battleborn right now. My overall impression is that the single player campaign isn't really a single player campaign. You really want to be playing it with other people, whether online or with your friends. And honestly, probably my favorite multiplayer mode is the team deathmatch capture point mode. Just because it's quick, it's easy, you're in and out, you're not having to coordinate with strangers, which is a real pain in the best of times, but even more so in like the real chaos, the sheer chaos of an online shooter. I think my only problem is that not all characters are created equal, and it's sometimes hard for, I don't know, like for certain characters to thrive, and even worse, like there are levels in this game, and if you get too far behind in a level, you're just going to get carved apart, and it's a real drag. So, but you can find my further impressions on the site right now.
Yeah, that was also my problem. It uses the League of Legends style. If you pick a character, no one else can choose that character. So if you're only good at like a specific type of character, you can sometimes find yourself in situations where you can't pick that character, and then it's just not enjoyable to you. It's just
Yep.
like I'm stuck as this other character I don't really care about. Whereas like Overwatch is just like, nah, if everyone wants to be Hanzo, everyone can pick Hanzo. You're probably not going to do well, but everyone can pick whatever you want. So, all right. So that is topic number 1, which is cats on Battleborn, and we're moving right on to topic number 2, which is Nadia's. What's your topic?
Yes. I am going to talk about Pocket Card Jockey for the Nintendo 3DS, which, if you've played the demo, you know it's kind of addictive. I'm having a hard time putting it down. It's kind of a mishmash that only Japan is capable of: horse racing and cards, specifically solitaire. Um, your skill at solitaire, or how well you play, determines how well your horse runs. There's a whole bunch of other factors involved too. Like, I'm actually surprised how complex this game is. I guess in Japan they take their horse racing very seriously, even if the horses are very cute.
Yeah, they totally do take
horse
their
art,
horse
yeah.
racing really seriously. If you go to your average game center, if you go to the top floor, you're going to find like this essentially virtual racetrack. And you'll see a bunch of like salarymen sitting around smoking, drinking, and like watching the horses like run around on a screen. And I think wagering virtual money on it, maybe real money, I'm not sure.
Yeah, because gambling is relatively big for salarymen.
Yeah, there's slots and stuff in the game centers, like
And pachinko and
That's probably why
Yeah.
there's gambling in like every Japanese video game.
Yeah, pretty much.
Fun. But you're right, Nadia. I think both the strange metaphor it uses and the very, very deep gameplay is a really like Japanese kind of game design. You know, just the how far it takes that metaphor of horse racing equals solitaire, I think is
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah, that's.
And also,
you're not
can
gonna
you
get
talk-
an-
Oh, sorry.
I was gonna say, you're not going to get anything like that in the West, like in terms of that weird combination.
And I was also surprised, and I want you to talk about this, about the how dark the story is. Right off the
there's a
bat,
story.
90 seconds. Please, Nadia, I want you to talk about this.
Yeah, racing horses is quite dangerous. As someone who tried to get involved with racehorses, I know it didn't work. That is, I tried to work with them. Anyway, you start off the game as like this really incompetent jockey who gets on a horse, tries to make the horse go. The horse immediately bucks you off, kicks you, and then you're trampled by a bunch of horses coming around the track, and you die. And
What is
Yeah.
this, Dark Souls with horses?
It's so great. That's what got me into it. I'm like, okay, I'm on. Let's do this.
And
I'm
the
dead.
angel or God or whoever is like, well, okay, I'll give you another chance, you know, it's like what you're good at. And it's like, well, I'm tear, but I really want to race horses. Okay, we're going to combine these two. What? Why? Just because. But it's actually surprising how as you play, the tutorial, just to let you know, isn't great, but there's an in-game instruction book that tells you everything you need to know. There's a lot of horse racing terms that you'll learn from this game. I've learned more about horses than I did solitaire because I'm not a really regular solitaire player. But
What did you learn? I gotta know.
just like certain kinds of races are called, certain kinds of horses are called. Even though all your horses are kind of like heads and little tiny hooves, and except for the special ones, which are like you can get. It's really interesting. You can get like different owners for different race horses, and if they'll say, "Hey, can you ride my horse?" Because of course, in the world of horse racing, you got your manager, you got your trainer, you got your jockey. So the people who own race horses, like you get like a businessman, you got like a pop idol star who gave me this horse, which is literally a horse that has a cat for a tail. This cat rides on the horse's butt, and its tail is the horse's tail.
It's awesome.
It's ridiculous.
Yo,
I think it's really smart for Nintendo to tap into solitaire because a sort of depressing thing I see whenever I travel is as I'm walking to my seat on the plane, from first class all the way back to coach, 20% of the people, if they have a smartphone or an iPad out, they're playing solitaire. I'm like, oh my god, like you have an $800 iPad and you're playing solitaire, but it's still popular. It's still like a very popular game. So I'm glad that they try to do something with it.
Yeah, it's either solitaire or match 3. Well, I've actually seen a lot of Hearthstone recently, which is kind of weird.
I imagine that a lot of it. I think Nintendo made this game like solitaire plus horse racing because they were aiming for the older Japanese set, maybe. And then they went, oh, well, maybe we should just release this in the US, which is an interesting choice because I think the 3DS audience skews a bit younger here than it does in Japan, but we'll see how it works.
We definitely don't get a lot of horse racing games in the West compared to Japan, which is crazy how many they have.
Yeah.
So it's no surprise that they finally decided, hey, how about horses and solitaire? But yeah, this Pocket Jockey is coming out on May the 5th, I believe, and you can read my full review once I have it up on US Gamer. But it's a
May
lot
the
of fun.
5th.
Yes, if you have a 3DS, go ahead and download the demo, see how you like it.
I just realized May the 4th is tomorrow. Sorry about that. That
May the
diver.
4th.
How could you forget Star Wars Day,
Man, Mike, you're such a nerd.
I am such a nerd. So that is Nadia's topic. And we move on to our final topic of the show, which is Bob's.
I'm going to jump the
which-
gun a little. Going to talk about a 2017 game, the new
What?
Legend of Zelda.
Oh man, well,
Of course.
that's okay, Bob. All of the games are coming out in 2017.
That's true. And as you all know, I have an uncle who works at Nintendo. I played about 5 hours of it. It's awful. I'm kidding, of course. We don't know what it's going to be, but it's going to be the only goddamn thing at Nintendo's E3 setup. And we've all been to E3 before. We know Nintendo's setup is this giant carnival of joy and fun and
It
devices
is.
chained to women. But this year, it's going to be one thing, and that's it. And I'm wondering... this has got to be good because otherwise Nintendo already kind of has egg on their face right now. I'm
Yeah.
just wondering what this Zelda will be like. Will it, answer the criticisms that Zelda has faced for maybe 15 years now, and will it be worth the wait? I'm wondering what you guys think about that, and what shape do you think Zelda will be? Because the last time we saw it was 2 E3s ago, just the tech demo, like Eiji Aonuma saying, "Look, you can go off into this forest, to go off into this field."
Wait, was that 2 E3s ago?
That
Yep,
was 2
it's
E3s ago.
2014. I mean, we haven't seen much at all of it. We certainly haven't had any hands-on time with it.
No, but that was the last time we saw anything.
I think Nintendo's been really
deliberate.
deliberately keeping it under the wraps until they can get it to a good frame rate, because it's a pretty big open world from what I'm able to understand, and I imagine that they're kind of learning on the fly like how to do this technically. I mean, it's not the first time that they've done kind of a big environment for Ocarina of Time, but my guess is that it's bigger than ever.
Mm-hmm.
And then also probably, Nintendo is notoriously perfectionist, and they do these really handcrafted levels. So I imagine that creating this content for Zelda, like the dungeons and everything, and just all making sure that the world feels filled out, it's taking a long
Yeah.
time. I mean, it's a
Yep.
little different, but like a game like Fallout 4, and like Fallout 4 took 7-8 years to finally be released. And and Rockstar usually takes their time with their games too. So I imagine that this has been kind of a learning experience for Nintendo.
Yeah, I guess we're not used to waiting this long, though, because I think the last time we waited this long was the gap between Link to the Past and Ocarina of Time, which was 6 years, which will be the gap between Skyward Sword and Wii U Zelda, whatever that's going to be called.
Wait, has it been 6 years since Skyward Sword?
Skyward was 2011, and Zelda Wii U will be releasing in 2017.
Oh my God!
Yes.
Stop it, Bob. Oh my God, that's the
I'm just
worst.
bringing you the scary truth. But here's the thing I'm wondering. What we saw at E3 2 years ago, that could not be a thing that exists anymore. Nintendo is not shy about tossing an idea away and starting over again, or reusing that idea later as a different game. So I'm wondering, will this new Zelda being unveiled, maybe that 2014 thing was a mislead? Maybe it was a failed prototype. Who knows? But this has to be good, because otherwise Nintendo is going to look even worse before the NX comes out.
Yeah, especially given the whole NX shift. At least if they offer up something good for Wii U owners, then that will sort of blunt that sort of split release again. But I don't think people are particularly happy with that, unless they're Super Nintendo, at which point they don't care because Nintendo is still in their corner. I honestly think the thing that's probably going to hurt it the most, which is really weird, is your other fave, Bob, Dark Souls.
Oh, yeah.
But they're nothing alike. I
Yeah,
mean,
very
Dark
different.
Souls, Zelda's about solving puzzles, and Dark Souls is about combat.
But Dark
okay?
Souls does capture that spirit of original Zelda, of going off
Yeah,
and finding your
the
own
very
path.
first Zelda.
But
Yeah.
Yeah.
as the series has gone on, it's lost more and more of that, and people do miss that, even though it was very much reduced and very much tightened in the later installments, and that is what this Wii U Zelda is trying to be, at least from what they promised. Like, this is going to be a find your own way adventure. We're not gonna hold your hand anymore, and that I think they are looking at things like Dark Souls and be like, oh, this is what our core gamers like now. They don't want tutorials. They don't want a 5-hour intro. They want just to be set free like we used to do.
I know that there are definitely core gamers who would like that more combat-oriented approach. And in fact, I've heard that, like, basically that from certain people. But, like, my partner, for example, she loves Zelda. She's finished a lot of Zeldas, and she hates the combat. Like, she doesn't like Link to the Past because it's too combat-heavy. She enjoys the exploration and the puzzle solving. And I think there are a lot of people who are, kind of like her, who play Zelda and aren't necessarily, like, in it because they like, killing bad guys. They like it because of the really intricate level design and the puzzle solving. And that's what Zelda offers.
Zelda has only been doubling down on combat since Wind Waker. Like, Skyward Sword was essentially like, this is the Zelda combat game. You'll have one-to-one controls. You will be swinging your sword as Link swings his sword and doing the moves that he does in the game. Like, they have only been getting more involved in combat. I won't be surprised to see if this new Wii U Zelda extends that even further, just because that's just the way these games are going.
And Skyward Sword, I'm probably not the only one, because anytime you say, am I the only one? No. Skyward Sword just bored me. Like, I literally got 2 dungeons in the Skyward Sword. Like, I bought the special edition, I was ready, I had my gold controller. I got 2 dungeons in, and I put it down, and I never went back.
Bob and I reviewed it. So we went through the whole thing.
Wait, I didn't review it.
You didn't review it?
No.
You hated it so much, I thought that you had to play it through the entirety.
Oh, no, I played through the original GameCube one. I didn't hate it. I just thought I was just kind of like...
What, GameCube one? Are you...
Yeah.
Skyward Sword?
Oh, Skyward Sword, right. No, I didn't review it. I hated it, and I did play it. Sorry. I thought we were talking about Twilight Princess for some reason. No, I did really dislike Skyward Sword. But
well, Bob just hates everything, everybody.
No, I love so many things.
Oh.
So many things that say Dark Souls in the title.
Dark Souls or olden time stuff. But yeah, Mike, I understand. Like that was also a very put you through the motions, handholdy, very very tight leash kind of Zelda adventure, more than they ever did before. The overworld was just a flimsy excuse for you to pretend to have freedom, but you really didn't. And I mean, they say they're not going to do that again. I really hope they don't, because the future of Zelda needs to innovate. Because it used to be an innovator. It used to be what people look towards for game design. Now it's just sort of been trailing behind and still like falling back into the old like explain things to you one step at a time thing, like you did in the 16 and 32-bit eras.
But it's still Nintendo's flagship franchise. Even after Skyward Sword was arguably a little bit of a misstep, like people are still as passionate about Zelda as anything in Nintendo. It just inspires people in a way that Mario doesn't anymore. So I feel like, on the one hand, that's really good, because this kind of passion will inspire people to just go out and buy it no matter what. On the other hand, that does put a lot more pressure on them to succeed.
For sure.
I mean, are people as passionate about Zelda as, say, F-Zero, which is I personally think, the most flagship title in Nintendo ever.
We should combine F-Zero and Zelda. Like, I could deal with that.
That
Ooh.
would be...
Well, they did combine Star Fox and F-Zero.
Yeah, Star Fox and F-Zero. They say that's a coincidence, but I choose it's canon, damn it.
No, it's
I
canon.
like Star Fox and Bayonetta together. That was better.
Yeah, that was a bad combination.
Yeah, no, Nintendo definitely has to hit the ground running this time. This is their like, hey, we're still in the game industry. Even though they're doing really well over on the mobile side so far.
Yeah, Amiibo, not Amiibo.
You know, Nintendo does its own thing, and to be perfectly honest, like, people have always been like, oh, I don't understand. Nintendo's not the same as Sony or Microsoft. They're not exactly the same. I hate this. But a lot of the reason that people like Nintendo is that they're different. They bring something really different to the table. And frankly, they're still around. They still have a lot of money. And they still sell millions of units. Yes, the Wii U was a misstep. But, I mean, they inspire passion like no other platformer holder that I can think of.
I agree, and I don't want the new Zelda to be Dark Souls. Dark Souls is its own thing. It's fine. I like it. I want the new Zelda to be the next innovator, as Ocarina of Time was, as the Wind Waker was in terms of the visuals it showed us. I want Nintendo to show us something we haven't seen before, either through visuals, through gameplay, through anything. Just something that will be what people look towards when they're making their own games. I want to see them regain that status again with Zelda.
Yeah, but I mean, Nintendo Bob wants to be happy. All
Yeah.
you have to do is make Bob happy.
They say
Pretty
Bob's
easy,
heart
Nintendo.
grew 3 sizes that day.
It will. My chest will explode if there's a good Zelda in 2017. So have a medic standing by.
My guess is that they're actually they're working on a kind of a Skyrim-sized world, but Bethesda doesn't really put the kind of care into bug fixes and whatnot. And I don't think having your horse fly up in the air randomly is something Nintendo would consider acceptable. So they're probably working really hard to make sure that sort of thing doesn't happen. It happened to me when I played Skyrim, scared the hell out of me. I never forgot.
Yeah, and Fallout
Random
4 was
flying
buggy
horse.
as hell, too.
Well, good luck
Exactly.
with that, Nintendo.
Yeah,
Yes,
so
I am optimistic. I just I won't be there in person to see it, but I'm hoping it's worth being the only thing there. Like they make it
Yeah.
worthwhile. And God knows what's happening this fall because of that you sure as hell won't
They
know
seem pretty
from the show floor.
Pokemon!
Oh,
yeah,
Oh, Sun and Moon, yeah, that's true.
they're putting some of their fortunes on that. That's for sure.
Pikmin 4.
So that is all 3 of our topics on US Gamer Hangouts. I would like to thank Kat, Nadia, Bob for
problem.
joining me. And next time there will be another host, and perhaps I will have a topic. It's
Yeah.
okay.
And we'll iron out the technical difficulties, but in the meantime, subscribe to us on YouTube, and if this thing goes really well, maybe we'll even start streaming it.
Yes, and let us know if you enjoy it. Let us know if you want us to change it.
Yeah.
And we'll do that.
Let us know if we
Otherwise-
disappear.
From the staff of US Gamer, I say thank you for watching. And we'll see you next week.
Later,
Bye.
everyone.
Bye.